There was a time when using a fork made people uncomfortable, not because it was sharp, not because it was dangerous, but because some believed it was sinful. In medieval Europe, when forks first appeared at royal tables, religious leaders called them an insult to God. They believed fingers were the tools we were meant to use. To replace them with metal prongs was seen as vanity. Today, that sounds absurd. But this small object quietly changed how humans eat and how we judge each other at the table. For most of human history, people ate with their hands. It was normal, direct, efficient. Knives were used for cutting, spoons for liquids. But solid food? That was handled with fingers. Meals were communal. Shared plates, shared space, shared touch. There was no embarrassment. No hierarchy enforced by utensils. The fork did not exist because it wasn't necessary. The fork did not originate in Western Europe. It appeared centuries earlier in the Byzantine Empire and parts of the Middle East. At first, it was used for serving, not eating. But in the 11th century, a Byzantine princess married into Italian nobility. At her wedding banquet, she used small golden forks to lift her food. Guests were not impressed. They were disturbed. Religious leaders criticized it as excessive luxury. Some even claimed that illness she later suffered was divine punishment for such arrogance. The fork had entered Europe, and Europe rejected it. For centuries, forks remained rare. They were not tools of necessity. They were tools of status. Owning a fork meant wealth, refinement, education. Early forks were often custom-made and engraved. They were personal items, not shared utensils. Bringing your own fork to a dinner signaled that you belonged to a higher class. The fork was no longer about food. It was about power. As forks spread across Europe, something subtle began to change. Posture became more upright. Movements became smaller. Eating became quieter. The fork created distance between the hand and the food. Meals transformed from survival rituals into performances of refinement. Table manners developed around the fork. Those who knew how to use it properly were considered civilized. Those who did not were considered crude. A small object had begun reshaping social behavior. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Metal production became faster, cheaper, standardized. Forks entered middle-class homes. The elite lost exclusivity, but the etiquette remained. By the 19th century, proper fork placement became part of social instruction. Formal dinners required multiple forks for different courses. The object that once sparked outrage had become essential. The fork did more than help us eat. It separated us from our food. It encouraged smaller bites, slower chewing, more deliberate movements. It changed how food was prepared, plated, and portioned. Without the fork, fine dining would look very different. The fork turned eating into a social signal. And over time, we forgot it was ever controversial. Today, the fork sits quietly in our drawers, invisible, unquestioned, but hidden in its design is a reminder. Even the smallest objects can reshape culture. Not loudly, not violently, but slowly. Every object has a story. Most were forgotten. This was one of them. Welcome to Object Lore.